Never really used one of these, so we'll see how it goes. If we could get the slides up there when you have a second. There we go. So as he said, in our class for the past probably 4 or 5 weeks, Kyle's been talking about being a servant and how he wants all of us to be getting out into the community, doing things for the community, and not just doing things for ourselves, become selfless. And one of the ideas that I had stemming from this was bringing hope to the homeless. Billy just told us there's over 600,000 people that are homeless around us. Just think about that number, 600,000 people living with nowhere to stay. Where are they going to get their next meal? Who knows, etc. What can we do about that? See if I can get it to advance. How often are you passing a homeless person? Last night I was in downtown Cincinnati and I passed 3 in probably half a block. We all just sort of try to look the other way, don't really make eye contact. You don't want to give them money. You don't know what they're going to do with it. You don't carry a loaf of bread in your pocket. What are you going to give them? I had a solution for this that I recently read in a book, actually, and it's called a care bag. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to take a drawstring backpack and fill it with items such as you can see on the screen, a pocket Bible, socks, granola bar for some food, comb, hand lotion, chapstick, deodorant, Bible pamphlet for some spiritual food, and give it to these people so that you don't have to worry, what are they going to do with this money? But we're still fulfilling Christ's commands to help those who have less than us. Just fill it with these necessities, hand it to them, and you'd be amazed how appreciative I think they'll be. So what are the logistics of this? Every month, how we have it planned right now, we're going to have a table set up. And you can go out in the foyer, and there's going to be bags sitting there. They're going to be $5 each. Let's say you wanted to buy 3 bags. You give whoever's working the table that day $15, and you get 3 drawstring backpacks filled with all the necessities we just looked at. And then you can go put those in your car. You can put those in your house. If you can fit them in your purse. And whenever you go somewhere where there will be those who are less fortunate, you can hand those to them. You can tell them, has some spiritual food in here, some physical food, and some things we thought you might like as it's getting colder. And tell them about Christ if you'd like. And the money that you put into this, it's going to go straight back into the project as a whole. We're going to be taking, the way I'm thinking about it, orders actually. I'm going to have a sign-up sheet where you can tell me how many bags you'll be interested in the first round. So let's say my family was interested in 2. I would write down they're committed to buy 2 bags, and there's $10. The Denims might be interested in 2, Buchanan's in 3, and I'm going to write all that down, fulfill the first order, and then take that money from that and put it straight back into the second order. It's going to fund itself over time to where no donations are going to be needed, and we're going to be helping the community in the best way possible. So as I said before, they're going to be $5 a bag, which is nothing when you think about the effect that it's going to have. Imagine if you have nothing except the clothes on your back, and someone hands you a bag with all this in it just because they care about you. You have the opportunity to help one person. You buy 3 bags, you help 3 people. That's 3 families you're helping maybe, and that's 3 souls that you're telling about Christ. My phone number's up there if you want to send me how many you're interested in, if you are, or I'll be out here tonight with a sign-up list. Please think about this, pray about it, and let me know as soon as possible within the next couple weeks. If you're interested, if you'd like to purchase some, how many you'd like, and I think we can do some real good in our community. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Sort of necessary. Does anybody have any questions on it as a whole? Anything at all? Yeah. Can I get that back up, or do you have to do it? The last slide with the phone number. You'll get there. What was that? 859. Forget sometimes. There it is. 859-653. Be my guest. It sounds perfectly good.
As far as bringing in donations for the bags, like I could count on occasions if I could find 20 boxes of granola bars or something for crazy cheap.
Yeah. Let me go back to that slide with our items we're going to be putting in there.
You'll want to check the prices of those. A lot of times, because we're going to be buying them in large quantities, we're able to get them at a very, very cheap price. And so it's perfectly fine if you want to donate them, but recognize if we're buying 100, sticks of deodorant, we're probably going to get it cheaper than you going out and buying 10. And so it might be better to just, to give the donation than we could easily purchase with that.
If you decide you want to donate any of these things, bring it to the church. We'll make sure they get put to good use.
Two things. One, you should know this comes straight from Benjamin's heart. It breaks his heart every time we go to the Reds game and we pass 3 or 4 homeless people and he knows not to give them money. So I know that is true of many other people that I've heard from. The other thing you should know is this Bible pamphlet is something Ben's going to write himself for this purpose.
If you have any suggestions on anything to put in that, be happy to take those into account, whatever you think people would want to hear.
This might be an odd question. What happens if I don't meet homeless people? I mean, that sounds really bad, but in my little world, I do not meet homeless people. So is there a need where I can purchase bags and other people can go give them? Because, I mean, I don't meet homeless people.
That is definitely an option. That was actually something we were going to bring up if we weren't getting the best turnout. But if you don't see homeless people on a daily schedule, if you don't often have a chance to give out the bags, you're more than welcome to buy a bag, and we'll put that aside and then either go out as a group and hand them out, gift that to someone else to hand out who doesn't want to purchase one, and it would still, your money would be going to great work.
Two things. If the bag goes to a homeless person, I think with winter coming on and bad weather, possibly not only socks, but maybe a scarf or gloves could be added to that. Plus, I think about when you're talking about bags filled with necessities, I think about our students where groups fill bags with food for the kids to take home on the weekends, otherwise they would not be eating. Something very similar to that to distribute in our schools possibly, where the same information, the pocket Bible, et cetera, could go in there. But consider, as an outreach, the bags that go home. And some of those kids are very, very self-conscious now. I think it's kind of commonplace. They will openly admit, thank you for the bags of food. They don't mind taking them into class, getting them home, because many times they're being brothers and sisters as well as themselves. But
Yeah, that's the one thing I really like about this idea. It has a lot of room to grow. There's really no bounds on it. So if we nail this down, and then it could have a whole nother offshoot of that, doing school supplies, food, etc. It could grow it totally into that.
joining in partnership anytime with some of the school systems. I know one of the aides at Southern Elementary in Pendleton County, there was a write-up about her last year, and in the summer, these kids also struggle. Now, many times, some of the schools will offer summer recreation so that the kids can get fed, but she took it upon herself. They meet in the park down there, and if the students are hungry, they come and they eat there, but it's based on donations from people in the community. And wouldn't that be a great idea also to kind of like an open air? I just hate to see that children are going sick. Are going hungry because their parents,
Yeah, I do like that idea once we start transferring out of the winter months. It's pretty far ahead, but maybe transforming the idea a little bit to gear more towards that, to get kids prepared for the next school year, to keep them full throughout the summer. I think that would be a nice way to switch it up.
the idea of maybe us or letting the Pendleton County area also. I think that's a great area for ministry needs. Now, there are churches there, yes, and they already take over. I know there's a Methodist, I think a band that comes by, and pick me up one afternoon. And there's an after-school program where the kids stay, but they're fed healthy meals. It's not just snacks. They bring in these hot meals for these kids. Another teacher was telling me about it, but and I know that's one way that those children are being taken care of, but there are adults as well.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see where God wants to take the idea. I mean, this is where it's at right now, but give it 2 months, it could completely transform into, there could be 2 parts to it. I'd say let's just roll with it and see how it ends up.
The other thing that, Candace is also working on something that might work well with what Ms. Betty's saying. And then would you be able to hang around afterwards just for a few more ideas that some of us might have?
Yeah, it's completely fine. I'll be out there. Any questions you have, any ideas, be glad to hear them.
One of the things we thought about, guys, was the price point, and we'd love to get some feedback on that. We were trying to keep it cheap enough that it was easy for people. And I mean, there's clearly, if it went from 5 to 10, there's a tremendous amount more that could go into a bag. But we didn't want to get it out of a range where people were, $5 is real easy, in most cases. So if you guys have any input on that, we'd love to hear, some of that or any additional items you think might go in there over some other ones, and we'll look at that as we go forward into the process.
Something I'm sure everyone's wanting to know, what is going to be put on the drawstring bags?
Well, that's not decided yet. We can put, you did say we could put decals on there, some type of design, pretty simply for no extra cost. So if you have any ideas, that'd be great.
We were thinking of some
We'll see.
short verse, something, something simple, not make it too hard to read. That's kind of what we were thinking about initially, but we just got to figure out exactly what we want to put there.
Any more questions?
You may not see homeless all the time, but we were going somewhere, got to the end of an exit ramp, and there was someone standing there with a sign. Very easy to hand that out the window to.
It's just sitting in your car, yeah.
Right, and there's not a lot of explanation that has to go along with this. Here's some items, whatever. That's a lot easier than driving around and going to find different things or just handing cash if you're not comfortable doing that. But I plan on keeping a couple in my car, because I know we see all the time. We'll see somebody sitting in one of the off ramps or something like that, and it's easy. Just hand it out the window, and you're done, and you did something without having to go too terribly far beyond it.
Mm-hmm. Any more questions? If you have any questions that you don't want to ask now, I will be around out there with a sign-up sheet to answer any questions you may have.